The NerdAxe is a fully open source Bitcoin mining ASIC machine that is designed to be easy to set up and use and requires low power and emits low amounts of sound. Today, we're going to take a look at how to set up and use the NerdAxe, as well as have a discussion about who it might appeal to most. I am Ben with the BTC Sessions. This is your daily session.
Hodl the Bitcoin.
Bitcoin Well is on a mission to enable independence by being one of the easiest and quickest ways to purchase Bitcoin in Canada and the US. And the best part about it, every buy goes directly into your own self-custody. They never hold your coins. You can add a Bitcoin address as part of onboarding. There's a transparent 1% spread, no hidden fees, no withdrawal fees. Plus they have KYC free sells and bill payments on their website. They're also a publicly traded company under the ticker BTCW on the TSXV. Check them out over at bitcoinwell.com. Check out my full tutorial on how to use them, and you can check out the links in the show notes down below and sign up today. CoinKite.com has some of the best hardware on the market today to secure your Bitcoin. The Cold Card Q is an absolute powerhouse and is my daily driver. And on top of this, they have plenty of other goodies, including the Mark IV, the Tap Signer, Open Dimes, the Block Clock, and much more. If you head over to their website, make sure you use code BTC Sessions at checkout to get a nice discount. Links are in the show notes down below. So let's talk prerequisites. What are you going to need to know in order to successfully navigate this tutorial? And I want to start this section off by talking a little bit about what this project is, just so you're familiar. This is the X handle of Scott9000, and he's the individual who created Bitaxe. And Bitaxe is an open source Bitcoin mining hardware and firmware. And so if you click through bitaxe.org, you'll be taken to this website. It gives details and links to hardware design files and firmware and all of that. So you can build devices from scratch on your own, or you can pre-order them fully assembled, which is what I'm dealing with here today. Now, of course, this project is called Bitaxe, but what I have is called a NerdAxe. So what's the deal with that? Well, Bitaxe is the original project, but because it's open source, anybody can go to the main project, fork it, aka make changes and make their own project out of it. And so you can see on the bitaxe.org website, if you scroll down, you see Bitaxe Friends, and NerdAxe and NerdMiner are listed there as well. And so these are forks of the project, basically just iterating upon what Bitaxe has already done. So in terms of what you're going to need here, you're just going to need a device. And, you know, there's plenty of resources here showing you how you can make it yourself and flash the firmware, but we're going with a pre-assembled device. There's a section in the middle that says where to buy, and that will take you to this page that shows you all the different places you can order from with lots of different options around the globe. Now, the one that I have here, this NerdAxe, this is one that I got from the awesome guys over at Bitronics. I was in BTC Prague. They had a booth there, and I ended up getting some goodies from them. So you can see they have lots of awesome stuff. Now, if you're not based in Europe and you want to order somewhere more locally, just search through the list and find a distributor that is close to you. And then finally, I'll just show you the variations here. This is the NerdMiner. Again, it's an iteration on the Bitaxe project, and the NerdAxe is just a beefed up version of the NerdMiner with a bigger display, a little bit more power, all that kind of stuff. So let's move on to what else you're going to need other than one of these devices. You're going to need a Bitcoin wallet. In this video, I will be using Sparrow Wallet, and really I need it for just to have a Bitcoin address. Although if you're doing Lightning payouts, then you're going to need a Bitcoin wallet software that's also capable of signing messages. And if you don't know what that is, we'll see that in a little bit. So again, the Bitcoin address will be used in two different senses. One, again, will be your solo mining. If you happen to hit a block and you get a payout, it will go to that Bitcoin address. But there's a dual function of Sparrow Bitcoin wallet for another instance that we'll get to in a second. But first up, if you want to be doing Lightning payouts in a simple sense where you don't have to do a lot of extra steps, the example that I'm going to be doing today is I'll be using Speed Wallet. Because it's super easy. You have a Bitcoin Lightning address that looks like an email address, and you can copy and paste that. It also has a plugin for your browser, which we'll be using today to pair with the mobile app if you see fit. And we'll be mining through Braiins Pool because they have simple Lightning payouts to Lightning addresses. For the more advanced version, but also more self-sovereign version of Lightning payouts, we will be running our Start9 server. I've got one on my shelf behind me, of course. On that Start9 server, we will have Core Lightning running. That is a prerequisite. If you're unsure about that, check out my Start9 video down below to see how to get that set up. And all of that will be using Ocean mining to redirect payouts directly to our core Lightning node on our own Start9 server. And Sparrow Wallet does come into play here as you set it up because that Bitcoin address and the ability to sign messages is going to come into play. I know that's a lot to throw at you out the gate, but just pick and choose which way you want to go about this, and yeah, just have fun learning along the way. Don't be afraid to tinker and try all of this stuff out if you want, or just again choose the path that seems best for yourself. And finally, again, we were kind of alluding to why might somebody do this. It's not to make a profit typically. And so number one, it's for the learning how Bitcoin mining works, how mining pools work, all that kind of stuff. Number two, it's maybe to have a bit of a Bitcoin lottery ticket that one day may come through. Who knows? And number three, there is always worry about too much centralization in Bitcoin mining. And you have large corporate mining pools that have large amounts of the hash rate. However, if something like this, home mining with small devices, was normalized for large swaths of the population, the hash rate of solo miners would eclipse that of corporate mining pools. So if you want to contribute to the decentralization of Bitcoin mining, this also may appeal to you. So hopefully, I know that was a lot to throw at you initially, but more or less, as long as you got yourself a Bitcoin wallet with a Bitcoin address, then you're pretty much good to go, and we'll be able to just dive in. So with that, let's get this thing plugged in, and let's start setting up your NerdAxe. All right, so let's take a look at what we have on the desk here. Of course, first we have our device itself. On the front, you have the main screen. There are a couple buttons there as well. On the side here, we have a USB-C port as well as a power port. And then that's pretty much it. Fan on the front, nothing on the top, some little nubs on the back to be able to keep it stable on the desk. Because I've got mine with Bitronics, it came with this little printed thing with a scannable QR code for a little walkthrough. On the back, it also has a full setup guide through the QR code and quick setup instructions right here. And then finally, I have a power supply, which I did grab a different one because I got mine in Europe. And so I needed to swap out everything. So if you are grabbing a different power supply, just make sure that it is a 4 amp. It's a 4 amp power supply. If you get a less power going to it, then you're not going to be super effective getting all the power you need for your device. So nonetheless, I'm going to more or less really simply plug this into the side here and then get this plugged into some power, and we're off to the races. All right, device plugged on. Not a lot of noise coming out of it. Obviously, the fan is whirring a little bit, but yeah, that's pretty much it for the actual device. So it looks like it needs to connect to the current configured network. So we are going to log in to the Wi-Fi portal that it has on the device right now using a computer or a mobile device. So here on the NerdAxe, it says to configure Wi-Fi, you need to log in and connect to the following Wi-Fi signal, meaning that my NerdAxe is emitting a Wi-Fi signal so that I can connect any device to it. This could be a laptop, it could be your phone, whatever you like, but I'm going to be using my phone. And so I see NerdAxe 2989 here. I'm going to tap on that, and now that should be connected. And it's going to give me this sign-in portal here. And so this gives me all the settings of my NerdAxe, and I can go from here and begin to configure the device. All right, so here we are on that dashboard. I brought it up bigger on my screen so we can take a look. Now, up first, let's just get what's in front of us. So we're going to be showing our hash rate, our shares, our efficiency, our difficulty. We've got a whole bunch of different stats here. We've got our power, our heat, our performance, all of that stuff will be here. Now, of course, this is plugged in on my desk and everything. I'm going to be moving it over to my shelf later, and I kind of had to put it through an extension cord to reach my desk. So the power is not ideal right now. We're getting a low voltage warning, but that's okay. We will shift it over afterwards. But I want to draw your attention up to the top left. There's this sandwich board here, and it gives us option for dashboard, swarm, settings, and logs. And we want to go into our settings. And so right now, this device was previously set up and already had a Wi-Fi, but we're going to be switching that out for our own information. So we basically need our Wi-Fi SSID, and we're going to need the Wi-Fi password. So I'm going to plug in my own information there. And so this is as simple as, you click on internet and what is the ID of your Wi-Fi network at home. You pick the correct one, whatever that may be, and then plug it in and then put in your Wi-Fi password just down below. Now below that, you're going to have your mining pool, and you're going to have your port and your username, which is your Bitcoin address, and your password, and all of that stuff will be down here. And we'll cover that momentarily. But for right now, I'll get my Wi-Fi plugged in. So once I've put in the appropriate information of my Wi-Fi network up top, I'm going to hit save, and it says that you're going to need to restart the device after saving for changes to take effect. So I'm going to hit save that. It is now saved. And then again, I haven't yet put in my information for mining and all of that yet, but I'm just going to save my progress as is. Now up next, we are going to put in our mining information in the configuration for that solo mining, hit a lottery type of mining that I am inclined to do. And so you see some information that is required here: stratum URL, stratum port, user, and password. Okay, now the URL and the port that are here are actually the correct ones. And I'm going to show you the website here. And this is web.public-pool.io. And so it gives you the information up here. And so it shows you publicpool.io, and then it also shows you a port number here. And so the configuration of what you'd be putting in there is, as I showed, public-pool.io. It says do not include stratum plus TCP or the port. So it gives you some information there. And then it asks for the port. And the port, as I said, is this piece of information there. So this is what you would be putting in for solo mining. And then you're going to need a Bitcoin address. And so my Bitcoin address, I'm going to pull from Sparrow Wallet, and in this instance, my tutorial wallet. So I'm going to hit receive, and we'll call this NerdAxe. Not that it will likely be used, but I'm going to grab this and I'm going to pull it over, and I'm going to paste it in to this field here. And once you've pasted in your appropriate Bitcoin address, you can set a password here in your interface as well. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to type that in as well. Once again, now that I have this information, I'm going to go ahead, I'll hit save down below. That's now saved everything. And at this point, I need to give a restart to this device if I want everything to actually go through. So I'm going to hit that sandwich board in the top left, and I'm going to hit restart. And we can see the device itself. It did power down. I saw the screen flash here. I had to run over to the other desk really quick, but we now see it giving a little reboot and getting going again. And after leaving it for a little bit, you can now see there's a timer showing how long it's been operational, the uptime and everything like that. And more importantly, up top here, you're going to have an IP address. And so as long as you're on the same local network, you can type in this address to get into all your settings and everything to do with the NerdAxe. Now, just another quick scan on here, it lets me know my hash rate for the device, gigahash per second, in and around 500. It gives me all different stats here, as well as temperature at 62 degrees. These buttons actually allow me to swap screens here. Again, it shows me some other settings and everything, the fans on auto, the pool that I'm a part of, the port, all of that stuff is shown here on the device, but otherwise, I can jump over to the computer or my mobile device, type in this IP address, and we will dive into more of what's going on here. All right, so I'm now logged in on my local network. So again, I have to be on the same Wi-Fi network that the NerdAxe is on, but I put in the IP address up in the browser here. And now I can see my hash rate, my shares, my efficiency, my difficulty, hash rate showing down below there, power usage, as well as the heat and temperature, how much the fan is going, the performance, as well as the voltage. And yeah, so that's pretty much everything. If I want to go back into settings and make changes, then of course I can do that. I can do things like flip the screen if it's mounted somewhere and I want it to look a certain way. And so I can see also that there are updates for firmware and things like that. So I can do all of that from this dashboard here. I will also note that I can create a swarm, and if I have multiple devices, then I can add that and basically create my own little solo pool at home with more than a single device, which is pretty cool. I like that. But nonetheless, back to the dashboard, here we are. I can always access this from a browser with just the IP address on my local network. And we're more or less good to go here. So what would happen if I did happen to hit a block? Then I would get paid out to that Bitcoin address that I set up within Sparrow. Just jumping over to the desktop here. And once again, with the same IP address, I have full access to everything and able to see all the stats on my miner right here and tinker with the settings. There's one other thing I did want to show you though, and that's over at web.public-pool.io. And you can also look up stats on your miner there. And all you need for that is the Bitcoin address that you're getting paid out to. And so that's pretty simple. I can grab that one of two places. Of course, you can go into your settings. You can go into your settings here and you can grab it from there. Or alternatively, in your wallet, the labeled address that you had, you can grab it from there as well. Either way, on that public pool website for login, you simply just paste in that address, go to My Workers, and there you go. You can see stats about your miner, your hash rate, all of that. It's right there for you. And you can go, and really there's not much to settings. It's just the fancy background there. But more or less, you can see everything over time. Now, I will note, in between takes, I've migrated my NerdAxe over to my shelf. It is right there beside me. So again, just a simple unplug, plug it in elsewhere, and because it's on the same Wi-Fi network, off it goes, off to work. And so you can see that at one point it did drop off, and so that obviously affects hash rate over time because there was a period of time where it wasn't plugged in, but not for very long. Either way, you can get all your stats from public pool, and you can get all your stats from your dashboard right here. And so with that, let's take a look at mining in another way and getting Lightning payouts. Speed Wallet is a Bitcoin Lightning wallet built with simplicity in mind. Spend and receive with ease, claim your own Lightning address, shop your favorite gift cards, and even earn rewards when you spend. Head over to speed.app to download the app on your mobile or desktop today and use the link down below to get 5,000 sats for free and have the chance to win even more. When it comes to peer-to-peer trading and lending, instant self-custody, and no KYC, HODL HODL is the place to be. You can sign up with just an email address, and once you're there, you can start browsing offers immediately, whether you're looking to buy and sell, or whether you're looking to lend or borrow. You can check them out today at the links down below. Now, let's say you're not a person that wants to just have a forever lottery ticket sitting on their shelf, and you want to see actual payouts coming to you, even as small as they may be with a device like the NerdAxe. You like the idea of seeing those sats coming in each day. Well, this is where a mining pool with Lightning payouts may appeal to you. And so we're going to take a look at a potential option here. And this is Braiins.com, and it's their mining pool. They are one of the mining pools that enables Lightning payouts. And this solution that we're going to go through here in terms of Lightning payouts is probably going to be the easiest solution for you, but we'll take a look at an option for something a little bit more complex, but also more self-sovereign. So with Braiins.com/pool, which I'll link down below, you can sign up with just an email address and password. And once you're in, you're going to get a dashboard that looks something like this, but a little bit more empty because I've already been through some setup here. As a matter of fact, my NerdAxe is currently connected to this. So this is the next day. There's been some mining taking place overnight. And so I wanted to kind of show what this looked like. But let's take a look at the setup first. So this will be pretty plain for you. You won't have any information here because you won't have any miners connected yet. But what you're going to do is you're going to add a worker. So over on the left-hand side here, once you're logged in, you're going to hit workers, and you're going to hit the blue connect workers button. And so this brings up a pop-up, and it gives you the necessary information that you need to plug into your Axe OS interface on your browser. So that same IP address that we've been using. And so all the information we see is right here. So remember, we don't need the little prefix here. We just need stratum.braiins.com, and then we need the port there, and that's what we need first. So again, looking here, you can see I've already put that there, stratum.braiins.com, and the port. Now, there's a slight difference in the username. Password, again, can be whatever you like, but let's take a look at what they had here. They recommend you use your user ID, which would be associated with the username that you have in Braiins. So mine is BTC Sessions, and then they put .worker name. And worker name is so that you can designate different devices. If you've got more than one device that is mining on Braiins Pool, then you can actually kind of track what each one is doing and how it's performing. And so I've gone and done that. And so my user ID, if we look over here, is btcsessions.NerdAxe. And what that will do is when they see it on the mining pool, they will designate, hey, here is your NerdAxe, and here's its stats and how much this device specifically has earned. And that's particularly useful for me because if you look at my workers section, there's the NerdAxe that I've now saved and connected to the pool. But also I've got an S9 space heater. So I used an old mining machine and put together a space heater that also earns sats over time. And so I've got, it's offline right now because I'm filming this in the summer. But when I do plug it back in, then it will show as online and hashing then. In terms of actually connecting it, so just recall that once we put in all our appropriate information, we need to save and then hit restart on the device in order to get it to boot up. It does take a little bit of time before Braiins Pool will see it active and hashing and working, but it will happen. Now, this isn't all you need to do. You obviously plug in your info and everything, but you need to tell Braiins where to pay you. Okay. And so this is where once you have set up the worker, you're going to go to rewards, you're going to go to funds up in the middle. And so once you click on the funds tab, there's an option to add a new account. Now I already have the account that I get paid out to, but I'm going to show you how this works. You're going to hit the blue add new account button. You're going to give it a name. So this one I'll just call test because I'll get rid of it afterwards. I'm going to hit add new account. Okay, now I'm going to go and click on that account and I'm going to hit set up payout rule. Okay, and it says, what kind of payout do you want? Now, the whole reason we're doing this is we want Lightning payouts. So we're not going to use the on-chain tab. We're going to click on Lightning payout. And all we need is a Lightning wallet that gives us a Lightning address. Okay. And obviously one that, if you're using like a self-sovereign setup, then you got to make sure you have channels and all that. We'll get into that in the more complicated bit, but more or less you need a Lightning wallet that has a Lightning address. Okay. And so the example that I'm using here is Speed Wallet because it's just plugged right into my browser, makes it really simple. But you could see here in the browser plugin, I have a Lightning address, btcsessions@speed.app. So I just copy that information, I jump right over here and paste it in. And then again, it gives a threshold value. So I will get paid out every single day as long as I have one sat that I've mined, which I will mine more sats than that. Not like a lot more, but I will mine more sats than that with the NerdAxe, and thus I will get paid out directly to this wallet that's sitting in my browser right here. So that'll be super convenient and easy to use, and then I can use those funds however I see fit. So all I do, I can set the threshold higher if I want the balance to build a little bit and do a Lightning transaction, but not super necessary. I hit I understand, I hit confirm changes, and then password, and there we go. I will get an email confirmation and it'll say, hey, you've changed a payout rule for a certain account. And then I can just confirm within that email. It says pending email confirmation. So I'm going to do that off screen for a second. Okay, so here is that confirmation email, and I can just hit change wallet, and then we're good to go. So I'll do that right now. Fantastic. And so now this test account will be allocated to BTC sessions at speed.app for Lightning payouts above 1 sat per day. And so what you basically need to do, you now have a worker, which is your NerdAxe. You now have a payout setting for a specific account, and you just need to say that the worker is going to, the funds that the worker accumulates is going to go to a particular account. And so if you've got one payout method, I believe it'll just default to going directly to that payout method. However, if you've got more than one, from the main dashboard, you can go to settings, and then it says reward split. Select how you want to split between your financial accounts. It'll give you a drop down of your different financial accounts, and you can go 100% to a particular one, or you can add another one and do 50-50 or whatever percentage split you want. I'm just going to leave it as is because this other Bitcoin account is already going to my Speed wallet, so I don't really need to change anything. And as a matter of fact, if I go to funds and financial accounts, I can actually archive this. I can just go up to the right and disable, I guess, would be the correct term. So anyways, that's disabled now, and I just see my main account. So nonetheless, to sum up what we did, we added a worker, we connected it, and we used the information there, and we plugged it into our Axe OS section here with all the relevant information. We saved it, and we restarted the device. Then we went up to funds. We added a new account. Maybe I'll refresh that so the disabled one is no longer there. There we go. We added a new account, we named it, and then we chose a Lightning payout. And all we needed to do was plug in any Lightning wallet with a Lightning address and then save it. There was a confirmation email. Once we did that, we're good to go. If we've just got one financial account, it will automatically pay out there. If we have more than one, then we can go in and specify if we want the funds to split a certain way. And then we just let our NerdAxe do its work. So back here on the main dashboard, so a dashboard is selected over on the left and mining is up top. We can see that we have a worker that is online. I have an offline one because that's my space heater. You may not have an extra one running, so that won't matter. It'll give you your hash rate over the past hour versus 24 hours. Now this guy's only been running for just overnight, so it shows a diminished one over a 24-hour period, but it's been relatively consistent. It's been somewhere between 350 and 550 gigahash per second, and lets me know rewards that are coming. So over this last little bit, a whopping 22 sats are headed my way in the next 15 hours directly to my Speed wallet. So that is awesome. We're good to go. And yeah, fantastic. So there you go. There's your Lightning payout setup. We are going to investigate one other way to do Lightning payouts next. All right, so here we are, and we are ready to investigate the more self-sovereign version of Lightning payouts. And I'm going to go through the steps here. Again, there's a number of things involved, and hopefully it goes off without a hitch, but sometimes there's complications when you're going as self-sovereign as possible. But I implore you guys to give it a try if you are able, because it's fun to learn. And if you need to troubleshoot, then hey, that's all part of the learning process. So what are we going to be using here in this example? Well, I've got my Start9 server. If you're unfamiliar with this, this is a device that will sit on your shelf plugged into your router and then plugged into the wall. And you can host a multitude of different types of applications to make your digital presence as self-sovereign as possible. Okay, so self-hosting things like your Bitcoin node, Lightning nodes, block explorers, and beyond Bitcoin, things like perhaps AI tools or files and passwords and photos and all that great stuff. So that is what a Start9 server can do for you and beyond. There's plenty of different things available, but this is what we're going to be focusing on. So we are going to be utilizing what you'll need downloaded, and I will gloss over a few things here. This is more for the people that have already dove into using a node and they just want to figure out connecting that to their Lightning payouts for mining. Okay, so I've got my Bitcoin Core node running. This is a full copy of the Bitcoin blockchain, the entire history of every on-chain transaction, plus the rules that govern the network. I've also got my Core Lightning node running. Core Lightning being an implementation of the Lightning network so that I can host and utilize my own Lightning channels. And so when I have that up and running and all synced, they have an interface that looks something like this. I already have a payment channel established with inbound liquidity available. Now, if you're unfamiliar, I have a number of tutorials on how to get inbound channels. There's lots of different ways to do it. That is not for this video. This is for people that kind of already have a Lightning node running. And keep in mind, at the time of recording, it will need to be a core Lightning node because LND has not yet implemented what is needed for this, which is Bolt 12. Okay, so I've got a core Lightning node, and then we're going to also be utilizing Ocean. Ocean is another mining pool that has Lightning payouts. And so I'm going to click on Get Started here. And it gives me a breakdown of how to connect to Ocean as my mining preference. And so what do I need? Okay, I'm going to need the appropriate information to plug into my dashboard. So I'm going to need mine.ocean.xyz. So once again, go to AxeOS. I'm going to paste that in. I'm going to need the port, which is 3334. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to paste that in. All right. And now for my username, what I need is a Bitcoin address. All right. So much like when we were doing on-chain payouts with that Lightning address, same deal here. I'm going to grab that same NerdAxe Lightning address that we were using before. And I'm going to go and I'm going to paste that in to my username. I'm going to replace what was for Braiins. Okay. And then for the password, again, it's whatever you prefer. I'm going to leave that as is. Okay. So I've got the appropriate information, mine.ocean.xyz, the port 3334. And my username is my Bitcoin address. And that's important. Make sure that you do that. And we're using Sparrow Wallet. You may be using something different, but Sparrow Wallet is going to be very useful for what we do next. So I'd advise using it. Okay, so that's all set. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to hit save. And then I'm going to give the device a restart. So restart. And we'll be back in a minute once that shuts down, does its thing, comes back online. Once your device is up and running, you're going to want to, once again, grab your Bitcoin address. You're going to give it a copy. And you can monitor your device over at Ocean by going to the main ocean.xyz website and clicking on Dashboard. And then you can search by username, which is just your Bitcoin address. So when you click on that, again, I played with this a little bit before, so you can see some old hashing from the other day as I was testing. But there we go. There's my device coming online just now. So you've set up, yes, an on-chain address, but there's some more work to be done in order to access Lightning payouts. Now, Ocean does have ocean.xyz/docs/lightning. And that's actually at the bottom of the Get Started page. They have a section that says receive Bitcoin for Lightning payouts. And there's steps here, which is the page I'm looking at now. And it gives you a little bit of information. You're going to need a Lightning implementation that is capable of Bolt 12. You're going to be needing to actually generate a Bolt 12 offer, which is kind of like a reusable payment code. And then you're also going to need to prove that the Bolt 12 offer belongs to you by signing a message with Sparrow Wallet. If that sounds like Greek to you, don't worry, just follow along. We'll see what's up. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go to Core Lightning and we're going to hit Receive. And we're going to choose Offer. Now we need to set something very specific in the description, and that is here on the documentation here. And it says that we need to type that offer payouts for, and then a space, and then our Bitcoin address. So I'm going to copy that. We'll go to description. I'm going to paste that in. We'll add a space, and then we'll get our Bitcoin address again. And I'm going to paste that in. Okay, so that's what it looks like. Ocean payouts for BC1, whatever your Bitcoin address is. It is case sensitive. Make sure you copy it exactly. Okay. From here, we're going to click generate offer, and we're going to copy the information that it gives us. So it shows exactly what we're doing here, and we're going to copy that offer information. So we're going to generate, and there's our offer. We're going to go copy it. Okay, great. Now, this is where we get in deeper into the weeds. Okay, so we created a Bolt 12 offer, which is a reusable payment code, so that Ocean knows where to pay us. Great. Now we need to generate something called a configuration message. Okay. And so we need to go, and it shows us a lot of different options, but we're using Sparrow to do this. So it says go to tools, sign and verify message, paste in your Bitcoin address, and then paste in the unsigned message generated by Ocean. And how do you do that? We're going to go to our dashboard. Let's once again look up our account. So we paste in our Bitcoin address. There we go. Okay. So when we're looking at a particular account or a particular worker, we're going to go to configuration. And this is where we can do our Lightning payouts. So we need to get that Bolt 12 offer again. We need to copy that and come paste it into that field right here. We're going to hit refresh so that it gets the latest block height. What block are we on in the Bitcoin blockchain? Okay. And it gives us this bit of text. So what we're going to do is we're going to copy that. Actually, maybe I'll jump over to Sparrow here for a sec. In Sparrow, there is a tool so that you can sign and verify messages. And before I open that, I'm going to actually copy that Bitcoin address again. I'm going to go to Tools. I'm going to go sign/verify message. I'm going to paste in that Bitcoin address. And then I need that message that we created over on Ocean. I'm going to paste that down below. And then we're going to hit sign. And it's going to give us this chunk of text, which I'm again going to copy, jump back, and it says paste your signature here. And hopefully we did that correctly. Configuration accepted. So that now means that Ocean, when I have a balance to be paid out, that means it will do a Lightning payout directly to my own core Lightning node sitting on my Start9 server on my shelf, which is pretty cool. So what exactly did we do here? Let's kind of go through that one more time just to kind of make sense of what happened. Okay, so Ocean doesn't have an account system where you sign up with an email address and a password and all of that. So they need some way to categorize people. And so that is assigning a Bitcoin address to a particular worker. However, if they want to pay out in Lightning, then they need some way for that Bitcoin address to be associated with a Lightning payout offer. So we went into our node, we created a Bolt 12 offer, which is a reusable Lightning payment code. And then we went into the Ocean interface and we said, hey, for this account, for this Bitcoin address, we actually want to associate this account with a Lightning, a Bolt 12 offer. So we pasted that in and we got a string of text that we needed to verify using Sparrow that we own the Bitcoin address and we want to redirect those funds to our Lightning account. And so we did a fancy bit of math in the background effectively by taking that special message and signing it with the private key of Sparrow that owns the Bitcoin address in a way that nobody could duplicate. and then gave that signature over to Ocean, proving that we own the Bitcoin address and thus that we're allowed to tell them to redirect the funds to our Lightning node at home. And so by pasting in that signature that we made, we took that message and said, sign this, I approve it, I own this Bitcoin address. They now know, okay, the person with these keys wants their payouts in Lightning to this Bolt 12 offer. So that's what we've done there. I know that's a lot to take in, but hopefully if you're able to follow along, you can tinker around and make sure that that works for you. But there we go. We've now got everything up and running, and we can now get our Lightning payouts directly to our own Lightning node. So you've got kind of a whole bunch of different ways to handle your NerdAxe. So I want to touch on updating the firmware on your device, and the easiest way to do it, which would be to go through flasher.bitronics.store. And they've got this convenient little setup where basically you choose the device you are using and plug it into your computer and flash the firmware. So in the instance of the device that we were using today, I would choose NerdAxe, of which there's currently one option. And then I would plug in my device. I would hit flash, and that's going to give me some options for ports that I'm using. Now, the best way to tell what is the correct port is to unplug the device and see what disappears from this menu here, or just plug it in while the menu is up, and then you'll be able to select it. The one that it is indeed is this one. I've got it plugged right in, or I have a device plugged right in. I would hit connect, and it would begin to flash the firmware. It would go through a process, and then it would reboot. Now, I'm not going to do that right now, but I did want to show you that. Now, I want you to be cautious when you're accessing the dashboard of your actual NerdAxe. There is a link where you can download firmware, and then it says update firmware, and select that firmware and everything. Depending on the version you're working on or the version you're using, you can accidentally, and in my instance, because this is what I did, I temporarily bricked my device. So I had to wipe it and install the firmware again. And that's where this came into play here. So just be aware. This is probably the easiest way to do it without screwing things up, and just make sure that you're plugging in the correct device. All right, so there you go, updating your device right here. So just some final thoughts on the NerdAxe and the Bitaxe and the NerdMiner and all of these little, we'll call them hobbyist solo home miners that you can utilize. I think this is probably the best way to whet your appetite when it comes to curiosity around Bitcoin mining. And why do I think that? Well, it is a low cost, easy, low barrier to entry option to just get started and to play around. And again, as long as you're coming into it knowing I'm not going to make money doing this, this is a curiosity. I can learn how mining works in terms of using pools or solo mining or whatever. I can have a conversation piece in my home sitting there for people to ask questions about. And you can also have a little bit of a forever lottery ticket sitting there in your home. Don't bank on that, but it's always a possibility. And funny enough, while recording this video, we saw the first Bitaxe hit a block solo mining. So somebody running one of these devices actually did hit a block, and they got 3.125 Bitcoin running a device that, costs, under a couple $100. Wild. Super cool. So congrats to the lucky miner. The other thing I was going to say in regards to, well, we covered the NerdAxe here, but what about the Bitaxe, and what about the NerdMiner, the other devices that are out there, and some of the others that may come out after this? The process of setting up is much the same. Case in point, I've actually got a little NerdMiner right here sitting on my desk. It is plugged in via my laptop. Now, it's much less powerful than the NerdAxe that actually has an ASIC chip in it, but pretty cool nonetheless. And the setup was effectively the same. I plugged it in. It gave me a QR code to scan to attach it to my Wi-Fi network. I was able to put in a Bitcoin address, and then I'm off to the races. And now this device is good to go. It's hashing, and who knows? Secondary lottery ticket. This is a cheaper lottery ticket. It's not quite as powerful as the NerdAxe behind me, but still pretty cool to just have something like this kicking around, mining away, and also learning a little bit from it at the same time. So if the more expensive unit is maybe a little bit of your price range and you just want to play around with something like this little NerdMiner guy is probably right up your alley. So either way, I think this is fantastic. And I do hope that this becomes more of a normalized hobbyist type of thing, because the idea of having a bunch of and I'll put myself in this group. The idea of having a bunch of weirdos just running these funny little boxes in their homes that are cheap to sit there and maintain, overtaking the hash power of large corporate miners, just really makes me warm and fuzzy inside. So, if you want to partake in that, then yeah, and you've got a little bit of change jingling around that you don't mind picking up a little device for fun, then yeah, dabble. It's a lot of fun. I think it's cool, and I commend everybody that's been working on these projects. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, please do like, subscribe, and share all these things. Help a ton getting this content in front of more eyeballs. If you do want to pick up anything you saw on the show today, there will be a link down below for you to check it out and pick up the device of your choosing. You can also help the show in another way by hitting the previously mentioned sponsors in the show notes down below. And finally, if you are sorting through tutorials like this on the channel and you feel you just need a little bit of extra help, maybe you run into a snag, or maybe you just prefer having somebody there with you the first time as you're learning, or maybe you're a Bitcoiner and you've kind of reached that Luddite phase where you've learned the first few things, you've kind of been set in your ways and you haven't progressed since then, and you want to get over that hump and actually start learning again. Well, you can reach out to us at bitcoinmentor.io. This is where I've assembled a team of incredible Bitcoin educators that are there and ready to help you through your next Bitcoin hurdle in your learning journey. This could be anything from key management, hot wallets, cold wallets, hardware and multisig, layer 2s, mining like we did today, running a node, and plenty more. So again, if you feel stuck, you need some help, head over to bitcoinmentor.io. You can book a free discovery session today and get started. Anyways, with that, I am out. Have yourselves a wonderful day or evening, wherever you may be. I'll see you guys next time for your daily session.
Hodl the Bitcoin.